Mike Cardano with Roto Experts and the Fantasy Sports Network here with some daily fantasy plays for you for Wednesday, April 2nd. Now, with yesterday being April Fool's Day, hopefully you weren't fooled by Sabathia's 16 scoreless innings to finish up the spring. I can't tell you how many people tried to tell me that I was nuts for not wanting to play him against the lowly Astros. Au contraire, as I tried to say yesterday, I wanted to take Astros players right out of the gate against CC. An 86-mile-an-hour fastball is not going to cut it for a guy who previously made his living as a power pitcher. The older, slimmer Sabathia gave up 6 runs in the first 2 innings, and if you had him in your lineup, your prospects for a profitable evening all but went up in smoke. Now listen up and let that be a lesson to you. The other guys are playing for a living too. Hey, the worst team in baseball wins a third of its games. The best team in baseball loses a third of its games. So don't be surprised when a team with a lesser roster wins on any given night. You can't play daily fantasy with that in mind. You will get burned more often than not. All right, on to today's plays. The Mets were 27th in the league last year in slugging percentage versus Southpaws, hitting just .240 against them. This just in, National starter Gio Gonzalez throws with his left hand. The Metropolitans' big signing this winter was Curtis Granderson. That's not going to change their fortunes today. Play Gio today for $8,000 over at FanDuel and $9,000 on DraftKings. Sometimes you get what you pay for. Mitch Moreland hit 20 bleacher reachers against right-handed pitching last season, and he's a measly $2,500 over at FanDuel while facing right-hander Kyle Kendrick. This one is a head shaker. Total disrespect for a guy with power and a great offensive ballpark. Mitch over Kendrick, like paper covers rock. The top salary pitcher today at Draft Street is over $21,000, and in a format where you need 3 starting pitchers, you're going to need some cheaper guys. So let's roll with Padres starter Tyson Ross for the bargain price of $14,492. Runs are always at a premium at Petco Park, and this Dodgers-Padres series is no different. So who's Tyson Ross? Well, he had the 4th best swing and miss percentage in all of baseball last season. And at DraftKings, he's just the 12th most expensive pitcher in night games. It's a bargain. I warned you about the weather in Oakland last night, didn't I? And that puppy got rained out. Now, you need to become somewhat of a meteorologist if you're going to play daily fantasy baseball on a regular basis, because you can't afford to go with zeros for players whose games get postponed. Now, things look okay today for the most part, perhaps some isolated thunderstorms at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, Texas to follow, but everything else seems to look okay. Now, for more daily fantasy coverage, tune in weekdays to the Roto Experts in the Morning Show from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on the Fantasy Sports Network or on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, Sirius 210 XM 87. And from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, we've got special daily fantasy coverage every weekday with Tony Sincata and Dr. Roto, who are joined by some of the most well-known daily fantasy players in the space. So check that out as well. Now, good luck today, everyone, unless, of course, you are matched up against me somewhere. In that case, may you get hemorrhoids and lose. Not personal.